Okay, so Boucher Guitars is not a big manufacturer like the American Big Three, for example. Boucher Guitars is a small company, a small team of around 15 people. Okay, and but they are so experienced craftsmen, and we manufacture around 400, 500 guitars a year with the utmost attention to details. And those guitars are 100% handmade and without any compromise on the quality of the material that we use. No compromise. Every effort is made to ensure that the name of Boucher Guitar inspires so much confidence. And we want that every owner of a Boucher Guitar has the feeling of belonging to a community of privileged people. We work hard for it. In 2011, okay, I decided to spend at least 1 month in the USA in order to improve my knowledge about the acoustic guitar culture of American people. And I realized that I will have a lot of work to do, when back home. In 2013, I decided to make a second trip, 6-week trip this time. It was in order to try and play and examine some real pre-war II guitars made by Martin. Why? Because in my first trip, I realized that the famous pre-war II guitars were for American people what Stradivarius violin are for the whole world. They are so, American people, they are so proud about those guitars. And I realized that they are so traditional. The thinking is so traditional. Square head. If you make a guitar with mahogany, you cannot put herringbone on the guitar because what's that? And I said in my mind, why? But this traditional thinking comes from the best guitar ever built in the world. In the 30s, from 32nd to 39th, something like that, yeah. So I did some calls before leaving Canada, and I called Mr. George Grun at Grun Guitars in Nashville. And George said, "Oh, Robin, it will be a pleasure to welcome you in my shop, And yes, I have several real pre-war Martins in stock. And I will borrow some from from my clients, in order to get the more guitars that I can get for you." And when I was there, it was a Friday. He invited me to move at the third level of his store, and then I was in front of I would say 10 or 12 real pre-war Martin, you know. And I remember him laughingly said to me, Robin, you know, as you make good guitars, and as you are the only guy to have that kind of expertise with the Adirondack Red Spruce, because, you know, your grade, how many? I said 15 to 20,000 tops a year, you know. And then he repeated, you know, you make good guitars, and you are a super expert of how to select Adirondack Red Spruce. So if somebody on the earth can crack the code of these guitars, it's you. You know. So I examined those guitars, and I realized some points, you know. And then when I came back here in Canada, I said to my workers, okay, we should stop saying that we make really great guitars. Now I know what great guitars are. And we have to change this, and that, make our guitars way more lighter, okay? And I think that I cracked the code on some points, you know. So we started to make three different tests. One test with the bracing, one test with the wood drying process, and the third test was changing some wood species inside the guitar. Okay? So we started with those three tests, and they were relevant. So after that, I said to my guys, okay, so now we have to make 4 OMs, East Indian rosewood back and sides, 4 OMs, mahogany back and sides, okay? And on top of the 3 tests that we did before, I had another 3 tests. So we did 3 bunches of 4 guitars of East Indian rosewood and mahogany, okay? Then we did exactly the same thing with a triple O size, okay? And dreadnoughts. And after those 32 guitars achieved, after the achievement of those 32 guitars, all the tests, test number 1, test number 2, test number 3 were relevant again. So at the end of 2013, we started to make our new generation of guitars, you know, in combining those 3 tests on the same guitar. You see what I mean? Okay. So with those 3 tests bundled together, the difference in terms of sound, playability, volume, projection was so huge compared to the guitars we made before, we built before. that was the turning point of Boucher Guitars, because we cannot, even if the first generation, the old generation are good guitars, there's no comparison. There's no comparison at all. We were in December 2013. 1 month later, we were at NAMM, because it is in January. So NAMM 2014. And I asked the guy, a bluegrass guy, come to my booth and try my guitars, because I was so proud. And that guy was blown away by the difference, because he was aware about, the guitar that the old generation of guitars, of Boucher guitars. So when he played it for the very first time, he said, "Man, we are in another world." And this year, in 2014, in that year, we won the NAMM Backer Boutique Guitar category. After we won the NAMM Backer at the NAMM show, I was so proud. My workers were so proud, and we kept, the recipe, but we worked how we could improve it, because when we are on the right way, it's easier to spot, what we do well and do bad or less well. So, and then, at the end of 2014, the whole recipe, the whole new recipe was achieved, and we changed nothing since. The philosophy on the Boucher guitars is so simple. It stands on only one sentence. Every single day, I tell my workers, don't try to find the way to do much faster. Just try to find the way much better. That's it. I think it means everything.